information that came out on Yuki Matsui from the Associated Press. This is on the ESPN website that I see here. Yuki Matsui, he can earn 33.6 mil if he becomes the Padres closer. If you remember, the deal is 5 years, around $28 million, but it can get up to 33.6 over 5 seasons with the Padres if Matsui becomes the team's closer and he remains healthy. He could opt out, though. He could opt out of the deal after 3 years and 14.5 million if his pitching elbow remains healthy. It was announced as 28 mil, 5 years. Salaries 3.25 mil this year, 5.5 in 25, 5.75 in 26, 6.5 in 27, 7 mil in 28, according to contract terms obtained by the Associated Press. He would have the right to opt out after the 26th season if he has not had Tommy John surgery or has not had an elbow injury that caused more than 130 consecutive days on the IL spanning 24 and 25. So pretty much like if you stay healthy and you're really good, yeah, you can opt out. If you get hurt, then we have the right to retain you. If he does have Tommy John or has an elbow injury causing more than 130 consecutive days on the IL, spanning 24 and 25, San Diego has a conditional $7 million option for 28. If the conditions for the team option aren't met, Matsui has a player option for 28 with the same amount of $7 million. So this is getting deep into the contract. Some fans might not be totally interested in that, but that is something to be aware of. Is okay. So if he has success for the Padres, like that's great. Like we want him to have success pitching for the Padres as a reliever, but he does have the ability to opt out after 3 years if he does not have the Tommy John, if he does not have an elbow injury, that he is on the IL for a substantial period of time. He cannot be assigned to the minor leagues without his consent. Now, this was changed. Yesterday, when I saw this article, it said essentially that he had a no trade clause. That sentence has been replaced. So I don't know if he still has a no trade clause, but that sentence has been replaced by he cannot be assigned to the minor leagues without his consent. I thought that was something that was in Ha-Sung Kim's contract as well. He also gets an interpreter, okay, a hotel suite on road trips, okay, which I think that all of the big players get, and annual road trip tickets to Japan. He will become a free agent when the contract ends, which that's like no duh, Captain Obvious. But I think that's meaning like there's no arbitration or anything like that. He's just coming over from Japan and he'll be a free agent when the contract ends. There's no arbitration, essentially, I think is what that means. Or else why would you put it in there? Like that's no duh contract. That's Captain Obvious. Contract. So hotel suite on road trips, I don't think that's like a big deal. I mean, where the Padres stay on road trips anyway, I'm sure there's plenty of hotel suites. Round trip tickets to Japan, okay, that's nothing for the Padres. I'm sure that's him having it paid for, but just making sure that he can get to Japan and come back and be all good there, probably in the off season. So those are some details on Yuki Matsui. Some interesting details. So stay healthy is what we want, obviously, for Yuki Matsui, but it could end up being a 3-year deal. If all things go well, it's probably a 3-year deal. He opts out. Maybe the Padres bring him back, but he opts out and gets more money from another team. Sort of like what we've seen from Waka and from Lugo. Those were shorter years. Those weren't 3 years, but I'm just saying we have seen that some of these contracts that AJ has handed out, maybe that's the only way that the Padres could have landed these guys. We don't know. But right now, I'm looking at this as a 3-year contract. I'm not looking at it as a 5-year contract. I'm looking at 3 years, pitch well, be healthy, and if you leave after 3 years, hopefully it means that you pitch really well for us and we can go win a World Series during those 3 years.